begins with Pacquiao all the way out to the center of the ring before the bell sounded. Southpaw against a conventional fighter. But in their first two fights, their heads only came together once. Two very clean fighters. Seldom has either been charged with a foul. Pacquiao starting behind his jab. Pattern of the first two fights, Pacquiao throws more jabs than Marquez. Marquez looks to counter with power shots.
Manny is fighting very, very intelligent. Notice he's keeping his balance, doing a lot of fending before he punches to make sure that he doesn't get counterpunched so easily. And he looks very, very strong. He seems to be just a little bit faster with his coordination and his movement at this stage. Even though no one has landed a punch, he seems to be better balanced.
Marquez tries the jab, just a little bit short. Pacquiao's jabs have been short. He's more active. Some theorized the possibility that Pacquiao might throw a wrinkle into this by laying back a little bit in the early rounds and making Marquez lead so that he himself could find something to counter with power. There's the first hard shot of the fight, a left hand straight up the middle on Marquez's chest. And now Pacquiao again reaches Marquez with the left, this time up top. Little red mark already on the nose of Juan Manuel Marquez. That came from the Pacquiao left hand.
That is what is going to be his signature punch in this fight here. And I'm looking at the way Marquez is standing. Manny's going to try to drive a straight left hand right through the center.
Freddie Roach said, very concertedly, this was Manny's best training camp ever. All I can say to that is, imagine that.
He looks
Two body
good.
shots for Marquez.
Manny looks very fast, very well coordinated. Very, very good balance.
They both look ready. Pacquiao just missing over the top with the left hand. The red mark on Marquez's nose is on the right side, just inside the eye.
These guys have fought 24 rounds, and right now there's a lot of respect between both of these guys. And Manny seems to be just a little bit faster, but I think a lot of it is respect, feeling each other out a little bit. But I would notice that even when Marquez did let Manny mix, he didn't counterpunch. And you see Manny now doing the counterpuncher.
Absolutely right. He's the counterpuncher now, and he landed a right uppercut. Now he fires the left up the middle again. Marquez hasn't been able to tag him with anything good. Couple of body shots for Marquez there, but Pacquiao won the round, it appeared to me, with a couple of good left-hand shots.
High-intensity round, even if there wasn't a lot of action.
Crowd wants more action to go with all that intensity. Both fighters are still being tactical and relatively cautious. One change that's taken place since their first fight, the development of Manny Pacquiao's right hand. He was a searching left-hand puncher, double jab, left hand, over and over back in 04. There's way more variety in his game now.
Oh, he's a very balanced out fighter there. I love his speed, his defense is good, his balance is phenomenal. He looks very strong, too.
Well, that transformation happened before their second fight, largely, and Marquez still gave him all the problems in the world in the second fight.
Leaned in, Marquez got in a body shot, just missed with a long right hand. Marquez jabbing to the body, trying to create some action here, trying to scare up something that he can counter from Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao's been very judicious, very selective, has landed when he wanted to. Marquez getting ready to take a couple more risks, or so it would appear. He has stepped forward about 6 inches, getting himself into tighter range with Pacquiao.
Pacquiao knows while he has a guy in front of him who's his own size or maybe even smaller, he's also his own skill level, and he hasn't faced that in a long time.
Body shot by Marquez, and then he landed an uppercut at the end of the exchange.
Marquez has did his homework on studying the left hand of Manny Pacquiao after 2 fights in 24 rounds. You see, he's very much aware of avoiding the straight left hand of Manny's more than anything else.
And you saw him there trying to counter over Manny's left hand with his right hand, something he did so successfully in the first fight between the two. Now Pacquiao lands a left hand, comes back with a body shot. Pacquiao blindingly fast on his feet.
This is the thing I think that's more troublesome than anything else that sets him out, aside from his punching power. His rhythm, he's got that little jerky moving in and out tight. And as the fight goes on, it wears the guy out mentally just trying to keep up with his body rhythm.
Right hook by Pacquiao. Marquez came across with a right hand across the top. Second round, CompuBox numbers began to even up just a little bit. Pacquiao 9 out of 42, Marquez 8 out of 30. Marquez landing 6 power shots to only 4 for Pacquiao. Round 3 gets underway.
Thought Marquez won the round.
A far more tactical fight so far than was the case in either fight number 1 or fight number 2, or at least, according to my memory, it seems that way. Harold Letterman gave the second round to Juan Manuel Marquez. Seesaw pattern, I win a round, you win a round, is another thing we saw in the first 2 fights. Left hand over the top for Pacquiao. Kind of a war of nerves in here in round 3.
Yeah, but Manny's speed just seemed to be a little bit faster than Marquez, and that's what's in addition to him looking physically stronger. But his speed is just so much. Even though Marquez is doing good now, but still he's having a problem trying to deal with the speed Manny as he's coming in.
Marquez landed a right hand down the chute. Pacquiao came back with a left hand up the middle.
Manny Pacquiao knows he has to be defensively responsible against Marquez, who's such a good counterpuncher, and as a result, it's muted Pacquiao's offense. He's muted his own offense.
Pacquiao making Marquez miss, but not firing back. Marquez fighting a conservative defensive fight here in round 3. Another jab to the body. Trying to get Manny Pacquiao to bring that guard down just a tiny bit.
These have been so far 3 of the quietest rounds these two have fought.
Small amount of combustion there. Little body shot for Marquez. Left hand over the top for Pacquiao. Marquez sticks a straight right hand. There's a hard right hook by Pacquiao. Best punch of the fight so far. Marquez feels the need to answer. Now the action begins.
You know, Jim, I got to tell you something. In 2 fights so far, Manny Pacquiao won both of them, both big controversies. And I'm starting to wonder whether that Juan Manuel Marquez style just impresses the judges enough to win a fight. He backs up, he does nothing flashy. You know what he does is very unusual. Judges like myself tend to go for the effective aggressor. I gave rounds 1 and 3 to Manny Pacquiao because of the fact that he's the effective aggressor and he looks better doing it. 29-28, 2 rounds to 1, Pacquiao.
Now we're seeing the kind of action we saw in the first 2 fights. I hit you, you come and try to hit me back. One of the reasons that we have seen flowing, sustained action from them in their first 2 fights
think Pacquiao just convinced himself a little bit that he can impose his speed on Marquez.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, a lot of speed. I mean, Marquez just looks so much slower than he does. And this is maybe the fastest I've saw Manny myself. And he's keeping good balance on. I've saw him punch a lot and get out of position, but he's very, very conscientious of getting out of balance in this fight. So he's punching and getting back in position right away.
Reaching left hook for Marquez. Made contact, but not solidly. Best punches of the fight have been a couple of Pacquiao left hands in the first round and a Pacquiao right hook in the third. Now Pacquiao begins to land solidly with a left and a right upstairs. Another left hand. Slight swelling above Juan Manuel Marquez's right eye, possibly from a Pacquiao left. Marquez goes to the body with his right. I was about to say a little while ago, one of the reasons that we often see free-flowing action from them is that Pacquiao's by nature an attacker, but he's also a great counterpuncher. Marquez is by nature a counterpuncher, but he's also a great attacker. Everything that happens generally gets answered and then answered back. Marquez must be careful when reaching for those low body shots that Pacquiao doesn't time him and counter upstairs. Now Manny begins to exploit those angles. He goes by you on one side and then comes back.
He's shooting his left hand a lot of times, not with the full knockout power, but shooting it almost like a fast jab just to change up his attack, and therefore Marquez can't really time the left hand as much as he did before.
And you see the challenge for the 38-year-old Juan Manuel Marquez, fighting at a weight class far above what he's accustomed to, trying to keep up with the speed of Pacquiao, who's far more accustomed to this weight. Good left hand by Pacquiao. Marquez lands a right in return. Here we go. Here we go.
Here you see what Marquez and Pacquiao both was concerned about, getting counterpunched. Anytime either one of them throw a punch and lead himself out of balance, boom. Beautiful right hand come back by Marquez right here.
Good right hand shot. CompuBox numbers in the fourth round. Pacquiao 15 out of 47, Marquez 12 out of 43. Pacquiao with a slight edge in power shots. On Harold Letterman's card, Manny Pacquiao goes to 3 rounds to 1. Punch was blocked by Pacquiao, as were the 2 preceding. Pacquiao, a far more responsible defensive fighter than was the case 8 years ago. CompuBox numbers between rounds showed you that this fight is taking place at a slower pace than the second of their fights. Uppercut from Marquez. Pacquiao seemed momentarily not to be paying enough attention. Marquez landing easily from outside then. Now Pacquiao comes back, answering, firing his double jab left hand combination. Still the preferred combination for the Filipino star. Right hand over the top for Marquez. Was knocked back on his heels. Best punch of the fight so far. Manny wants to answer back right away.
But this is what makes the type of fight that these guys are doing. When one guy gets hit, the other guy automatically runs back right away.
Pacquiao landed a right hook and a left hand. Marquez comes back with a solid left up the middle. Pacquiao again wants to answer back. 20 seconds to go in the round.
Most dominant round of the fight so far, authored by Marquez.
And he is loosening up and gathering confidence and starting to fire. But his right eye is also beginning to swell. Good round from Juan Manuel Marquez.
You see which is the best punch of the fight right here. Straight right hand, right on the chin from Marquez. Hit it straight between the gloves, right down the pipe.
Manny Pacquiao's chin tested there by Juan Manuel Marquez. Remember the pattern of the first two fights? Marquez lands more power shots through 5 rounds here. Pacquiao 30 of 83 on power shots. Marquez 33 out of 91. The pattern begins to emerge again.
Pacquiao looked up right before the bell for this round as if to say, looking to the heavens, here we go again with this guy.
5 rounds have gone by pretty quickly. Here's the 6th of a scheduled 12. Marquez was buoyed by winning the last round. His corner spirits were lifted. Good jab by Marquez. Sneaking it in across the top of Pacquiao's right hand. Judging by the chants, the crowd's about 50-50.
But by nature, the Mexican fans are louder, more boisterous than the Filipino fans.
Marquez blocking Pacquiao's left there. Body shot by Marquez. Drives Pacquiao back. Pacquiao lands a little left inside, steps away at an angle.
Marquez looked like a 9-1 underdog to you guys.
Not even close. Those odds were absurd. Pacquiao's been so mesmerizing, and some of his fans and followers have become irrational in terms of judging his quality compared to the guys he's fighting. There's a good right hand by Marquez, countering off the ropes. And there's a hard left by Pacquiao, and a good right hook, and another left. We're close to having full combustion here. All the burners are on. Let's see how high the fire builds. Hard right hand by Marquez, followed by another. Pacquiao with a right hook. Marquez with a left hook.
We're picking up where we left off with the last 2 fights now.
Absolutely right. These last 2 rounds have been round 13 and 14 of the second fight.
Both guys tried to see if they could do better than the first 2 fights, if they could outclass the other guy, and it seems like they've decided there's no way around this. We got to duke it out.
Absolutely. 2 fighters who know each other very well. The inherent beauty of the trilogy. Marquez driving Pacquiao back with a body shot as the round comes to a close. Close round. Both fighters have their moments.
Here we see, similar to the last 2 fights, where Manny shoots shots, get out of position sometimes because he punches so hard, and boom, here comes Marquez right back, taking advantage of that.
CompuBox numbers showed that Pacquiao was more active in the round, throwing 46 punches and landing 15 of them. Marquez only threw 28. It was his low output for the fight. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim, I've got it 4 rounds to 2, 58, 56, Manny Pacquiao. I thought Juan Manuel Marquez definitely won round 5, certainly won round 2 in my estimation. But other than that, it's the effective aggressiveness and a hard left hand of Manny Pacquiao. I like when he fights, I like when he throws a punch and he steps to the side. That's impressive because it's ring generalship. 4 rounds to 2, Pacquiao.
I could certainly see that. To tell you the truth, I don't think anyone won that first round. Nothing much happened.
But the Nevada State Athletic Commission and most ring authorities now vigorously discourage even round. There's a perfect right hand shot by Marquez. Pacquiao getting his chin checked once again.
Not that it was necessarily even, but it may not have been to Pacquiao either.
Well, the difficulty of scoring fights between the two of them is bespoken by the divergent scores of both of the first two fights. One judge in the first fight, 115-10 for Marquez, another 115-10 for Pacquiao. In the second fight, the same thing happened with scores of 115-112.
You know, I don't know what the punch output has been in the first two fights, but these guys are fighting much more respectful, a lot more careful this fight than they did in the first two fights. So the punch output is, I think, down, but they're punching more for accuracy down. Each guy is trying to make sure he doesn't make a mistake and leave himself open to get counter punch.
Body shot by Marquez. Those punches score. Good left upstairs by Pacquiao. And a double right that knocks Marquez back. Marquez makes another stand in the center of the ring. There's that left-hand body shot again. You wonder when Pacquiao's going to be able to counter over the top of that with a right. There's a right hand upstairs by Marquez, and again. His timing on that right hand is extraordinary.
Yeah, he's really placing. Even though Pacquiao maybe went, I mean, but I'm not spoken that to the crowd. The most important thing to me is just seeing how effective Marquez has been landing with those clean, well-placed shots.
There was an amazing piece of footwork by Pacquiao, who moved to 3 or 4 different places while Marquez was standing still. There's another amazing piece of footwork as he lands a shot and goes by Marquez to a place where
Marquez is taking his time and placing his punches.
There's the uppercut. Brilliantly thrown by Marquez. Again, both men had their moments. Take a look at Manny Pacquiao's foot movement after he lands a punch. This is what I was talking about at the end of the last round. He lands a left and a right. Now watch him run away at an angle where Marquez can't possibly throw a shot. He did it 3 straight times at the end of the round.
That's the thing that's underappreciated about Marquez. I mean, Manny, is his footwork.
Well,
then Marquez waited till he stopped moving and nailed him with an uppercut.
I had a great pro football player as a guest at Pacquiao versus Cotto. Charles Tillman, who plays cornerback for the Chicago Bears, seeing his first live prize fight. And I asked him, I said, what impresses you about Pacquiao? He said, easily, the footwork. I've never seen an athlete in any other sport who could get to so many places so fast.
Meanwhile, we're dealing with another drawish fight so far.
Our shots in 7. Pacquiao landed 16 out of 31. Marquez 11 out of 21. You saw between rounds that Manny Pacquiao is bleeding from the mouth, bleeding from a cut apparently inside his lower lip. There's an oddly shaped right hand shot by Pacquiao that landed. There's Marquez coming back with his conventional straight right cross over the top.
Every time that Manny throws a punch, Marquez comes right back with a counter punch.
Realize no one has competed with Pacquiao since the last time Marquez fought him. He has just smoked everyone he's faced.
In order to compete with him, you must have great craft, you must have pretty good footwork, and you got to have some speed. Marquez can't match Pacquiao for footwork or speed. He can match him for craft, for sure.
But he takes his time. He's always in good balance position, and he takes advantage of Manny running in and is over anxious and getting out of position. So he doesn't try to match him in those other areas. He just takes his time and places his punches very effective. Just like
uppercut
that.
By Marquez,
the left uppercut.
And a right hand upstairs. Pacquiao needs to answer back. Tries to fire a right hook. Marquez counters with a left.
Pacquiao hasn't fought another great fighter who still had it since the last time he was in with Marquez, and obviously the great Marquez still has it.
At 38 years old and fighting at a weight which many felt would severely debilitate him in the fight, Juan Manuel Marquez is giving as good as he's getting from round to round and staying right there with Manny Pacquiao once again. Left hand over the top by Manny.
And Marquez comes right back with a shot every time after that.
More and more, though, Pacquiao is ensuring himself by running to a side at an angle after he lands the left. Right hand by Marquez again. He times Pacquiao perfectly with that shot.
Most memorable punches of this fight that have landed so far have been Marquez shots.
Yes. You know, Manny creates a lot of excitement with just his body rhythm, and so I can easily see, in addition to his punching power, why judges get influenced by it, because he's always moving, jiggling, creating excitement.
And throwing the left hand down the middle, which landed to end the round, and in a close round may have left the right final impression on the judges. This fight is building an intensity from round to round. Power shots through 8. Pacquiao's landed 65 now. Marquez has landed 63. Marquez had a 13-11 power shot edge in round number 8. These rounds are close. It's another scoring challenge. Harold Letterman has it 5 rounds to 3 so far for Manny Pacquiao.
Wouldn't be hard to imagine one of these judges having it 5 rounds to 3 the other way.
Indeed, very possible. And it's an entirely different judging panel from those who judged the first 2 fights between them. Pacquiao blocked both those shots with his gloves. That was on the back of the head, and Pacquiao shows referee Tony Weeks that it was on the back of the head. It shouldn't be seen as a scoring blow. Good combination by Marquez. And another good combination by Marquez. Now Pacquiao blocks another shot with his gloves and steps up to look to answer back because Marquez had 2 good offensive moments. Hard right hand down the middle by Marquez. Hard left hand in return by Pacquiao. Pacquiao needs to find a way to land some combinations here. Marquez is landing more combinations than Manny does at this moment. Pacquiao starting to rely a little bit more on his right hook. Misses with the left. They trade shots at close range. Pacquiao backed Marquez off. Stop, stop, stop. Stop, stop. Left-hand shot by Pacquiao. Tries to come back and capitalize. Marquez wants to answer right away. Stop, stop, stop. Suspense builds as Marquez attacks again. Here comes Pacquiao. Knocks Marquez off balance. Here's Marquez with a counter shot. 20 seconds to go in a close round. Left hand for Pacquiao, and that might have won him the round. What a tremendous round. The crowd's on its feet. We've got a fight in Vegas.
When you see these kind of exchanges right here going back and forth, it's like who you judge won these exchanges or win these, that's who's going to win the fight. Because they're going back and forth, tit for tat. This one here was, I would have to give up to Manny. That's simply because he looks so strong, so fresh, and it's nice little bears and footwork that he threw there.
I agree with you, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Marquez landed some signature shots, but Manny outworked him.
CompuBox numbers in 9. Pacquiao 17 out of 70. Marquez 17 out of 56. Now here's the big moment. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim, I've got an 87-84, 6 rounds to 3, Manny Pacquiao. And I want want to answer Emmanuel's question. I want to tell you, when the punches are equal, Manny, when the punches are equal, you gotta start looking at other stuff. You look at effective aggressiveness, you look at defense, you look at ring generalship. What I talked about, what Jim talked about early on, was Manny Pacquiao's ring generalship. He hits you and he steps to the side so that when you come back, he's not there. Aggressiveness, Manny Pacquiao is the aggressor by a mile. Defense, Marquez is swelling, Manny's not. 6-3, Pacquiao.
Once again, Harold Letterman's card is unofficial. He scored the first fight 115-110 for Pacquiao. He scored the second fight 115-112 for Pacquiao. If you were scouting judges, you would say, oh, Letterman prefers the Pacquiao style. But nevertheless, he's a very, very good scorer, and other judges would do well to emulate it. Meanwhile, there's combustion again between these two guys in the tent. Marquez backs Pacquiao off for the right hand and does it again. Pacquiao pointing to his head, saying, I think I got butted. There's blood on Pacquiao's face. I'm not certain whether it's his or Marquez's.
I'm quite sure nothing matters.
Oh, for the days of 15-round fights.
And it's funny right now, Marquez should be being more aggressive. He seems to have, Manny's distracted right now because of the blood for a second, but Marquez is not taking it to him. He should take it to him a little bit more.
Pacquiao's cut. Pacquiao's got a cut above his right eye. Pacquiao is trying to motion to the referee that the cut came from a butt. We'll see what the Nevada State Athletic Commission tells us between rounds. And he finished the second fight with blood on his face and a cut over his eye. So did Marquez. Little right hand shot for Marquez. Marquez to the body, Pacquiao upstairs. Two-punch combination for Pacquiao. A right and a left there. He missed with the left, he landed the right. Now he lands the left. Marquez comes back with a right. Manny Pacquiao had a big rally to finish the round.
And it's a round that Marquez could have won easily, I think, if he'd have stepped it up about a minute sooner.
Might have won it anyway, but Pacquiao might have bailed himself out with that rally at the end. There's the cut, and it's bad.
Adjust tayo. Masyado mataas yung 105 natin. Baba kunti. Masyado. Baba kunti. Baba lang. Kunti lang. Baba ko.
You gotta sit still for me for just
Wag
a second.
masyado.
Just 1 second.
Deep breath. Kasi pag doon ka umiikot, nakukuha mo siya. Huwag kang pumunta dito sa kaliwa. Dito ka sa kanan. Adjust kunti ang 105. Adjust, ha? Rad. Kasi paghata mo, yuyuko.
Here we see a nice right hand from Marquez.
That's not what caused the cut.
And here you see an exchange right here where headbutt,
There's
bam,
the headbutt.
and that's where the cut comes from.
Nevada State Athletic Commission confirming between rounds that the cut came from the headbutt. And you made the point that Marquez had a round on the table he could have won. He only threw 37 punches. And Manny Pacquiao threw 50. And partially as the result of that, Harold Letterman gives Pacquiao a key round, which on the Letterman card makes him uncatchable now, unless Marquez scores a knockout.
I'd be surprised if at least one of the judges has it tighter than Harold, maybe even for Marquez at this point.
I wouldn't be shocked, neither would anybody else, based on the scoring of the first two fights, based on the way they match up with each other. Body shot by Pacquiao. You wonder if Marquez, unaccustomed to his weight, is having a little bit more trouble getting from here to the finish line, maybe pacing himself a tiny bit.
Yeah, Manny looks so strong, even though Marquez is meeting him almost punch to punch. Manny looks physically so much stronger, much fresher, and much faster.
Marquez is 38, Pacquiao's 32.
Our interpreter, Jerry Olaya, makes clear that in Marquez's corner, Nacho Beristain is very confidently telling Marquez, you're winning, we're winning the fight. That could be influencing Marquez's choices in the ring. Hard right hand by Pacquiao as Marquez lunged forward. Big left and a right by Marquez.
I have it a round closer than Harold does, and there was a round, the first I thought, that could have gone either way.
Pacquiao needs to answer back. Well, Harold has Pacquiao up by 4 rounds, so if you take 2 away, that makes it an even fight. Again, this is highly open to interpretation and could be scored differently by different judges. And again, Nacho Beristain, according to our interpreter Jerry Olaya, is confidently telling Marquez, you're winning the fight.
And he's fighting that way also. It's a big difference between doing much better than what the crowd or the public expected than actually winning on the scorecards.
Pacquiao landed his right hook, got in another right hook, but Marquez tagged him with a left on the forehead. Pacquiao's cut has not been reopened in this round.
Marquez also knows that Pacquiao in exchanges is extremely dangerous because of the hand speed, as he found out in their first 2 fights. And so in a way, he has to take what Pacquiao gives him, and Pacquiao's being more cautious than in their first 2 fights.
Hard right hand by Marquez. Pacquiao tries to answer back with a left. Closing seconds of the round.
Probably a Marquez
We've got
round.
3 minutes to go.
Guys, Marquez's corner thinks he's winning. Freddie Roach wants to see Pacquiao put this guy on his ass. And the crowd seems to think Marquez is winning.
12th round of a scheduled 12. Harold Letterman saw Marquez coming with a win in the 11th round, getting to within 3 points on the Letterman scorecard. We've emphasized over and over, official scores may conceivably be closer than that. Beristain is this confident that Marquez is winning the fight. Perhaps he hasn't observed over the last 10 years the powerful tendency of judges to favor the puncher who throws the most punches. Volume punching is the single biggest factor in the sport in winning fights on the scorecards. Incidentally, 12th round knockouts are rare. Both fighters have only 1 in their career. So chances are we're headed to the finish line again. Marquez is very conservative here in the final round of a close fight. Obviously, he believes what Beristain has told him. Pacquiao blocked the second right hand. The first one tasted Pacquiao's face.
In a close fight like this, you never tell your guy if he's winning. I mean, I don't care, regardless of what he's doing, maybe better than anyone expected, and maybe there is a little blood on Pacquiao's face, but I mean, he's never dominated Pacquiao in this fight still.
Freddie Roach certainly didn't tell
expected.
Pacquiao he's winning. He told Pacquiao to go out and fight.
Sometime during the later rounds in the Thrilla in Manila, Muhammad Ali told Joe Frazier, they told me you were finished, Joe. And Frazier told Ali, they lied to you, champ, they lied. Anyone who told Pacquiao Marquez was finished, they obviously lied.
Marquez is trying to time Manny coming in and then counter punches. So all he's waiting on him to come in and mess with the straight left.
The round is on the table. The fighter who's most active in the last minute can win it. Pacquiao's mouthpiece drops out of his mouth, and there's no action, so Joni Weeks will call timeout and give Manny a chance to put it back in.
It's very unusual, especially a veteran fighter like him to have his mouthpiece come out in the last
How did that
round.
even happen?
Very unusual.
Come on, right out of his mouth.
Time in, let's go.
But the facial expression, Manny is very, very frustrated and desperate at this stage. But he don't know what to do because every time he runs in and throws a punch, Marquez comes right back and counters him.
That's what's called counterpunching.
And a potential $100 million payday against Floyd Mayweather, potentially in May, hangs in the balance here.
Marquez has backed off in the 12th round. Pacquiao only needs to throw another combination here at the end, probably to seal this round. This was a tremendous tactical error, I think, by Juan Manuel Marquez, who finally runs at Pacquiao at the end, but never really let his hands go in that round.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Oh boy.
We talked about Marquez fighting cautiously. Pacquiao didn't exactly throw caution to the wind, aware of the skills of Marquez after now 36 rounds with him.
Michael Buffer holds the answer in his hands. Let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand, we go to the scorecards. After 12 World Championship rounds, Robert Hoyle scores the bout 114-114 even. Dave Moretti scores it 115-113. Glenn Trowbridge 116-112 to the winner by majority decision. And still WBO welterweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao.